my god. I have not, surprisingly, I own this book, but I had not opened it until now. So I had not seen this. Hi, welcome to Books of Yarn. My name is Anna, and these are the 12 books I definitely want to read this year, even if I don't get to read any other books. Now, 10 of them I already have in my possession, 5 of which I got on loan from my library, 2 of which I don't have as yet, but I'll definitely purchase one of them. And then the other one I have access to through my Kindle Unlimited membership. Now we're going to start off in no particular order. I have all the books here in front of me, so I'm just going to start off with them. Now, the first one that I'm going to start off with is A Song of Fire and Ice series by George R.R. Martin, which is book 1 is a Game of Thrones. Now, I've watched the entire series, about 6 to 7 years ago. And ever since I found out that it was based on a book, I've always wanted to read the entire series, because watching a TV show of a book, there are a lot of times where there are some things in that for some reason, once it goes to production, they decided not to put in the book, and sometimes they twist the events and stuff like that. So I definitely wanted to read the entire series. So this is book 1, A Game of Thrones, and there is book 2, which is A Clash of Kings. Now, the books are small, but if you can see the density of the book, it's very thick. Book 1 has book 1 has, I'm skipping through. Book 1 has over 800 pages. So there's over 800 pages in book 1, and there's a lot of things in the book as I'm looking through. Since I got these from my library, I haven't had a chance to look through, but there is an appendix that basically shows you like family lineage and stuff like that. So yes, the book 1 has 807 pages. Then there is book 2, which follows suit with 965 pages. Wow. There is book 3, which is A Storm of Swords. This has over 1,000 pages. Oh my god. Then there is book 4, A Feast of Crows. This is, let me see. And as skipping through, I realized that the book is told from multiple persons' point of view, which is really nice. This has over 1,000 pages as well. And then the last one in the series is A Dance with Dragons. And this one has over 1,000 pages as well. So we're done with the first 5 books. And so another book, which ever since I discovered it on Amazon and then I saw it on TikTok and a few YouTubers, I have been in love with the plot. And it's Caraval by Stephanie Gerber. Now, there's this book I read as a child. It's called Cirque de Freak. It's a vampire book with a carnival that comes every year with these vampires and other people. And ever since I've read that book, I've always been in love with spooky carnival books. That's why this book caught my eye, and I had to buy it. I've never read anything from Stephanie Gerber. And this year, my reading goal for this year is, which we'll talk about later. So I'm definitely trying to commit myself to reading a lot more books this year. And this is my must read. I probably try to read at least one of these books each month to ensure that I read all of them. I might read more than one of them, but this is definitely on my must read for this year. My favorite book of 2023 was by Colleen Hoover, and so when I heard about Verity, which is the next book that I must read, I was like, she's also the person that I had my worst read from, so I was like, oh, I don't know. But I love me myself a good suspense, a good thriller, and after I heard about Verity, I was like, I think I'll give it a try. So here I am, my 2024 must read. So we're down 7 books so far, yeah. And this was a recommendation from one of my friends in UK. We're always recommending books to each other. And this is a murder mystery. This is the story of an investigation turned obsession. Pretty and popular high school senior Andy Bell was murdered by her boyfriend, Sal Singh, who then killed himself. It was all anyone could talk about, and 5 years later, Pip sees how the tragedy still haunts her town. Now a senior herself, Pip decides to re-examine the closed case for her final project. At first, just to cast doubt on the original investigation, but soon she discovers a trail of dark secrets that might actually prove Sal innocent, and the line between past and present begins to blur. Someone in Fairview doesn't want Pip digging around for answers, and now her own life might be in danger. I love a murder mystery. Now, I bought this book purely for the dragons, Fort Wing. Now, at the time that I was purchasing this, I think there were the special editions. Now, I recently got into reading, and one day I might be into special editions myself, but I'm not at that stage, so I went ahead and got this. Just for the sake, I'll watch anything with dragons. That's why even although I watched Game of Thrones, I loved it, I had to watch House of Dragons because they had a lot more dragon involvement, and I love me myself. Oh my god. I have not, surprisingly, I own this book, but I had not opened it until now. So I had not seen this. Isn't this, oh my god. I had not seen this. Oh, I love when books have maps. So it's very thick. It's 500. No, I'm mistaken. It's, yeah, almost 500 pages. So I have chosen a lot of books to read that seems to go beyond my normal 300 mark. Normally when a book is beyond 300 pages, I normally tend to back away from those books, and it's probably a good thing that I had not realized that they are beyond 300 pages, less they probably would not have been on my must read. And so my last physical book is The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. Now, this book was a big thing last year, and I'm not sure if it's the cover, it's the green, I'm not sure if it's the hype, but I have no logical reason for wanting to read this book other than the reasons I've mentioned. I hope I'm not being judged, but this is my 10th physical book that I have right now to show you. And on number 11 on my list is The Rivals by Rebecca Yarros. Now, surprisingly, long before it started getting all the hype that it has, saw it and I decided to read it. But every time I'm on the verge to start reading it, something happens and I end up not reading it. So I committed myself to ensure that I read it this year. And the last book I want to read is book 3 of the selection series, which is The One. Now I've read book 1, didn't like it so much. I read book 2, it got a little bit better, but everyone says book 3 is the one, literally. So I definitely want to read that. Now that we're through with my 2024 must reads, let's get into my reading goals for 2024. Now, last year my reading goal was, if I'm not mistaken, 50 books. I managed to read 39. I did do my 2023 wrap up, and you can get my feedback on those books. I'll leave the link to that video here. But surprisingly, I did not meet my goal, and it could be because I started reading May. We're already halfway through the year when I started reading. That's one. And two, I was not entirely committed to reading then. I was traveling. I was looking to start my crochet business, which I started. But reading is something that I love. And I love getting lost in these worlds, which is probably why I tend to read a lot of paranormal romance and paranormal thrillers. I tend to read a lot of books that don't go hand in hand or don't have any similarity to the real world. And if you read any of those books, I'm constantly looking for book recommendations. I do want to read a lot more this year. However, as I do have my crochet business to focus on, I'm setting a goal for myself to read 100 books. That's that's my reading goal. The next goal I'm setting for myself is to read a range of genres. I normally stick to fantasy and romance and thrillers. So I normally don't do scientific fictions or anything like that. I don't read autobiographies or anything like that. I've listened to self-help book in the past, but I normally don't read them. So I do want to expand my reading genre this year, along with also expanding. I want to read a lot more indie books as well, a lot more self-published books by indie authors. That's another thing that I want to do this year. I also want to read from a range of authors. Now, I am in a love-hate situation where Colleen Hoover is concerned. But at the same time, I'm very quick to pick up a Colleen Hoover book because I'm familiar with her writing. I recently discovered Anna Hang. I've read book 1 and 2 of her Twisted series, so I'm more quick to pick up her book because I'm also familiar with her writing. Even if it's a 1-star book, I'm more quick to pick up a James Patterson book because I've been reading him since I was a child. I recently discovered Stephen King. So if I read your book, even if I didn't enjoy one book, I don't judge an author based on one book. So the more I get familiar with an author, the more I'm likely to pick up their book. So that's one of the things I definitely want to do. I want to read a wide variety of authors, a wide variety of genres. Also, if I'm not putting too much pressure on myself. If I meet 100, the goal of 100, that's fine. If not, that's also fine. I do want to set a limit of 100 for this year, although I did not meet my 50 book mark. With that being said, it's January 7 when I'm recording this, and I've only finished one book so far, and it's a book that I've been reading for like 2 weeks. As I said, every reading week is going to be different based on what I'm doing in my life. And so if I don't read any other book, these are 12 books that I definitely know I will read, because I've been looking forward to reading these for quite some while. And I'm doing a lot of series. I want to do a lot of series this year. There's a series that I started last year for my channel where I want to read a lot of books that have been adapted into movies. That's another thing that I want to do this year. I also want to read a lot of I love series in terms of movies. I also have a love for series books. I want to find a lot more series and work towards finishing them. I know that's a lot I'm putting on myself, but these are just my reading goals for 2024. And I want to hear, what are 12 books that you want to read this year? I'll definitely love to hear from you. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share with one of your reading friends. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay fit, and have a wonderful day, month, year, week, minute, second. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye.